The following video is really difficult for me to record. It's not the most often occurrence where you get to hear the real life side of me, but I really wanted to make this video again 1 year later since a lot of things have happened in my life since my last one. This video is intended for those who feel like Christmas doesn't feel the same, or those who aren't fortunate enough to have a good Christmas this year. Throughout the course of this video, I'll be discussing topics of loss, coping with the loss of loved ones on holidays, as well as a few of my own personal stories. I hope you can find some sort of comfort this holiday season with this video. And one more thing, this video is not going to be monetized, so if you're willing and capable, please consider picking up a channel membership today to help me continue making content across all platforms. All completely optional, of course, but very much appreciated. So without further ado, let's chat. Hello my employees! Merry Christmas. As you can see, we are once again back in the Minecraft Festive Mashup Pack because it wouldn't be Christmas without this nostalgically beautiful map. Time to do some reminiscing. It's time for me to address the elephant in the room, to talk about the biggest event that occurred for me in the year of 2023. For those who are unaware, I lost my grandfather on the morning of July 9th. He passed away here at home, and I got to hold his hand before he passed. When I held his hand, the best way to describe it was a grip that was not too strong, not too weak, but rather a strong enough grip to let me know that he knew I was there. I think it's time I finally explain something you might be curious about. The bracelet you see me wearing says Dream and Believe. It was a bracelet I got in 3rd grade when we did a cancer fundraiser. You've probably seen me wear it in some of my TikToks where my hands are visible. I've worn it since October of 2020 when my grandpa fell down the stairs, and I've never taken it off since. I use it as a reminder of him, as well as a motto that keeps me going every day. At one point I left the room to call my aunt for no more than a minute, and when I exited my room to go back into his bedroom, that's when my girlfriend stopped me and told me he was gone. She saw him take his last breath. But I personally don't believe this was a coincidence. I believe once he saw I left his room, that's when he decided to let go, because he didn't want me to see him like that. I was the main reason why he clung on to life. I meant everything to that man, and good God, did he mean everything to me. He was cremated, and we had a very brief chance to say goodbye. During the service, my mom and I were the only ones who even really shed a tear. I don't know if it was because the rest of my family had a more positive outlook on death or what, but I was the one that put all his stuff in his crypt, as seen here. He was put in the same crypt as my grandmother. My mother and I were the main caretakers for him for the past 3 years. I witnessed him slowly degrade over 3 years as his dementia slowly chipped away at him. But I was able to graduate high school last year and show him my diploma, something he fought for his life to be able to witness. He was 89 years old and was going to be 90 this October. He definitely lived a full and great life, that's for sure, but his last few years definitely could have benefited had he not developed dementia. I've had my rough patches with my mom, but if there's one thing I'll give her, she made sure he was not put into a home. And if it wasn't for her, he would have died with none of his family next to him. I'm not gonna lie to you, this is probably the most vulnerable I've ever felt making a video. I'd like to share one of the last stories I had with him. It was about 3 weeks or so before his passing, and I walked into his room to talk to him and check up with how he was doing. This was when his voice really started to crack and become weak. It was harder for him to speak. I didn't stay in there for too long because he kept trying to speak but couldn't. I told him that it was okay and he didn't need to speak. I sat there with him talking about simple things like how my hair was starting to get a bit long, and he just shook his head at me because he hated when my hair got too long. But at one point in the conversation, I just broke down. I hugged him tight, almost too tight, and I said, I hope you're proud of me, and I'm sorry if I was ever too much. By that point, I was a mess, and as I was about to leave his room to go back into mine, he got my attention, and in an almost clear voice, he said, Tyler, I am proud of you. Please don't forget that. I'm proud of you. The entire conversation, he struggled to speak, But as soon as I was about to leave, he used every last bit of energy in him to say that to me. I'm not an overly religious person, but I feel like there was a greater power in play. The first Thanksgiving, the first Christmas, the first holiday in general without your loved one is one of the most painful experiences you'll have in your life. Seeing that once filled seat at the dinner table empty, it'll put a feeling in you that you never thought you could feel. That right there is going to be the thing that shatters your heart. My grandpa would always dress up as Santa for my cousins and I. If I have a picture, I'll put it up here. It's moments like this where I wish my family wasn't separated. I wish my family could all be together again this year, but that just won't happen. Christmas for my family has always been kind of rough. On December 22nd, 2007, we lost my grandmother to cancer, just 3 days before Christmas. I was only 4 at the time, but yet I still have the memory of watching her get stretchered away ingrained in my head. I don't have as many memories with her as I do with my grandfather, which I wish I did. It's because of them that I try to cherish Christmas as much as I can. But now that I'm 20 years old, I'm encountering something called life. I don't know if anyone else out there can relate to what I'm about to say, but this year went by scarily fast. I feel like I just blink and a day goes by. I barely had the opportunity to do any of my typical Christmas traditions this year. The majority of my audience consists of people younger than me, so I cannot stress this enough. Do not take your time as a kid for granted. Do not take your family for granted. I was very fortunate enough to have good Christmases as a kid, but I realized that not everyone can have a bunch of presents under the tree like I did. Not everyone can have the family time like I did. I had all of that 10 years ago, but now, not so much. And even worse this year with one of the most important people in my life gone. Which brings me to all of you. This holiday season, just like the past two, you guys have been with me. We've been on this crazy ride together for what feels like forever. Whether you were a Salem trailblazer in the summer of 21, or a recent employee that joined to fight in the Minecraft mob vote revolution, I'm glad you're here watching this video. Much like last year, I'm not expecting this video to get an insane amount of views, so if you're one of the few people watching this, thank you. I feel like I cannot say it enough. Thank you. To make things worse, there's a good chance my mom won't even be here on Christmas, and if I didn't have my amazing girlfriend, I'd be here all alone, and that's scary. How in just the span of a couple years, I went from having the best Christmases ever, filled with family and fun, to me waking up on the morning of Christmas Eve feeling like just a normal day. And it sucks because I don't want to feel this way. To me, it felt like Halloween and Thanksgiving both happened in the same week, with Halloween on Monday, Thanksgiving on Wednesday, and Christmas on Friday. If you lost a loved one this year, and you two are facing the same emotional dilemma as I am, here's some things I'm doing to help with the grieving process. Even though my grandpa is gone, I'll still be setting up a spot at the dinner table for him. Like I mentioned earlier, seeing that empty spot is going to hurt no matter what, but by having that seat open, it'll be like they're still there. And one thing I did for Thanksgiving was I ate 2 plates of food, one for me and one for him. Him and I were always the last two left eating every year at the dinner table. So to me, overstuffing myself and spending an hour shitting is the least I could do. Now, if you watched my Christmas video last year, you'll know exactly what my favorite Christmas movie is. The Polar Express has always been my go-to Christmas movie, and it's one thing that will be able to take my mind off of things this year. My love for this movie goes back over a decade ago. You guys remember the pajama movie days at school where they'd pass around the watery ass hot chocolate in the paper cups while the whole class watched the Polar Express? You know, if I had that hot chocolate now, I'd probably spit it out in and say it tasted like I licked the bottom of Willy Wonka's size 12 boot. But when you're in your pajamas in that cozy atmosphere with all your friends, sipping down that hot chocolate, and you see that iconic scene of the Polar Express circling up that mountain, I'm confident when I say that there's very few feelings in life that can compare to that. Polar Express holds a special place in my heart. I used to watch it a lot with my mom, even though my grandma thought the animation was creepy, which I can't exactly fault her for because I can see where she's coming from. But no matter what, when that music crescendos at the end and those credits roll, there's always tears streaming down my face. The Polar Express is my comfort film, and it's definitely one of the few things that are able to put a smile on my face this year. 2023 has been such a roller coaster for me. Whenever I had highs, they were really high, but when they were low, they were rock bottom. I got my first ever major sponsor, and it was by Minecraft themselves. I had numerous interactions with Minecraft, another thing I never thought I'd ever have. I helped out with the mob vote revolution and gained over 100,000 followers in 1 month. Seriously, that's absolutely mind-blowing to me. Thank you so much. I started my amazing Minecraft modded survival Let's Play series, Classicraft. Don't worry, episode 5 will be uploaded in due time. I achieved 25,000 subscribers, and I've released one of my favorite videos I've ever made, the remastered Legend of Herobrine mod showcase. I do not know what 2024 holds in store for me, but if there's one thing for certain, is that no matter what, I'll still be cheered on and motivated by my #1 supporter. I'm so sorry for the very long video, especially if you're watching this on TikTok, but I just wanted those who felt down this year to know that it's okay. Everything is going to be okay. I say that because it's something I wish somebody could say to me. It's another Christmas in the books, and as I sit here now, about to go make some hot chocolate and relax, I want you to know that someone out there cares about you. No matter what, there's always at least one person. And if you don't think so, just know I'm one of them. Also, the next time you're talking with any of your loved ones, cherish that time and listen. Hold them close and tell them how much you love them, because you'll have no idea how much that means to them, and you never know what life has in store. I hope this video helped you in some capacity, and if it did, then that's the best Christmas present I could ever ask for. Thank you for an amazing year, and have a very Merry Christmas. Take care, everyone.